hello everybody. Can you hear me? How you doing? How you feeling? We're having a great 2 days. How y'all doing? I want to see that you can hear me first. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we live? There you go. Sorry for being late. Shayna, welcome to the live stream. Subscribe to Patreon, follow her back on Instagram and Twitter. Hit the thumbs up. It helps recommend the channel to more people. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Shayna. Hey, nice to see you. Feel like it's been a while since I've seen you. Somebody is worried. I was afraid that you fell asleep. To be honest, valid. Not far from reality. Almost did. How you all? So, I'm thinking, since it seems like there aren't many yet here. Okay, so it's picking up. So how about we do a little bit of a dance? Is anyone here in favor? A bit of a warm-up. Hi, Tag Mechir Tzedek. Can you hear the music? I need to know. Hello, hello. Hi, Great Jedi. Melvin, Joseph, I'm scared of my phone. Yeah. I mean, the phone is scary. I've been scared of my phone since my service as well. Not because I was afraid that it would explode, but because I was afraid of what comes with the, it's always like, we need you, talk to me. Okay, you guys can hear. Right. I have a list. We can go through stuff. Right.
אתה נראה כמו סוס יאור, יש לך שכל של ציפור, עדיף שתישאר בבור כי בקרוב אתה תמות. אתה פשוט אידיוט גמור עם שיגעון גדלות חמור, אתה שטן או בקיצור אתה חלאת האנושות. גם אם תזרוק עלינו טילים או תאיים על הגלילים, החברים שלך מסוריה ואיראן. גם אם תפיל כאן עוד קטיושות, תדע שאין כאן שום ירושות, ביחד נתגבר על הצרה. יאללה יא נסראללה, נדפוק אותך אינשאללה, נחזיר אותך לאללה עם כל החיזבאללה. יאללה יא נסראללה, תלך מפה יא זבאללה, נגזר כבר מלמעלה שזה הסוף שלך. אתה עלוב, אתה קטן, אתה מזכיר אורנגוטנג, יש חקינים על הזקן ובקרוב תעוף מכאן. אתה ג'וק מת, אתה בואש, אתה מתחיל להתייאש, צהל אותך רק מבקש כדי לשרוף אותך באש. גם אם תזרוק עלינו טילים או תאיים על הגלילים, החברים שלך מסוריה ואיראן. גם אם תפיל כאן עוד קטיושות, תדע שאין כאן שום ירושות, ביחד נתגבר על הצרה. יאללה יא נסראללה, נדפוק אותך אינשאללה, נחזיר אותך לאללה עם כל החיזבאללה. יאללה יא נסראללה, תלך מפה יא זבאללה, נגזר כבר מלמעלה שזה הסוף שלך. אז תקשיב טוב יא חיזבאלונצ'יק עלוב, ותהיה מוכן, כי בקרוב כל צה"ל עם האפאצ'ים, ה-F-16, הספינות, הטילים, הטנקים, הקומנדו, צנחנים, גולני, גבעתי, כולם מגיעים אליך לביקור. אז תנשום כמה נשימות עמוקות ותהנה מהם, כי אלה הנשימות האחרונות שלך, יא כלב. יאללה יא נסראללה, נדפוק אותך אינשאללה, נחזיר אותך לאללה עם כל החיזבאללה.
Hello, people. Hello. It's a great day. But I think it's the best way to start celebrating. You know, when it's good, it's good. You have to appreciate the good. If you don't stop to appreciate the good, then it's bad. It's not good. Yeah. I'm being deep. I sound like Kamala. Maybe I also have Kamala moments. You know, yesterday is yesterday, tomorrow is tomorrow, and in between there is the present, and the present of tomorrow is the yesterday of Nigeria. Hello, people. Hello from Carson City, Nevada, USA. Hezbollah. Oh my God. Somebody says I laugh like Kamala. You know, it hurts. What can I do? This is it. How you all doing? How you feeling? All right. Yesterday, we had an event. We had a party. Everybody got the invitation for the party at the same time. It was a very booming party, you know. Lot of it's just I'm wondering like how much do I need to go through? Oh, you know what? I'll just here. Let me share. Let me see. Let's say there is a summary that they made about how it was covered yesterday. So that would cover yesterday. Here.
Of a bizarre attack coming through right now out of the Middle East.
Here.
Of a bizarre attack coming through right now out of the Middle East.
לא חלף זמן רב מאז שהחלו להגיע הדיווחים הראשונים על פיצוצי הביפרים בלבנון, ועד שהאירוע הזה הפך לסיפור המרכזי של היום ברחבי העולם, שנותר המום.
Yeah, they're just saying that the whole world is shocked. Today it's even more shocked, I guess. Like, okay, so two team. I really don't want to show any images. I know I'm gonna get demonetized, and you guys, if you want me to speak freely, for real now, like, I need your support. Like, head over to my Patreon, the Buy Me Coffee here, whatever. It's just that I cannot, like, I wouldn't be able to afford continuing making content that is like that is free talk. There were, like, you know, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it just, you know, at the time and effort I put in it, if I'm not gonna get it from monetization, then I have to have your support. But if I don't have your support, then I'll monetize, and that means I'll have to not show anything fun or do anything fun or, you know, talk freely. Because they're smart, you know how they do that? Like, they automatically demonetize you, and then you have to wait until they monetize you, and it takes who knows what. It, like, depends on their mood. And then they check it. It's like, oh, you're okay. But then nobody watches this video anymore. Then I get nothing. So annoying. So guys, if you want to support me, that would be appreciated. And if not, you're gonna get some boring content, or I'm gonna go back to being a high-tech person. One must eat, you know.
Extraordinary, this. Almost unprecedented. I can't think of any case where you've got a almost simultaneous explosion of so many personal devices. Now, these were not mobile phones. They were pagers, which sounds very 20th century.
It does appear that someone, presumably the Israelis, has infiltrated Hezbollah's communication system, whereby they've been able to cause these pagers to explode.
לפי שעה, האירועים בלבנון פותחים את מהדורות החדשות בכל כלי התקשורת החשובים בגלובוס, וכולם שואלים את אותה שאלה, כיצד בוצע המבצע המתוחכם?
Interestingly, these devices are don't appear to be designed to be lethal. So they've inflicted some very nasty wounds, some injuries on people, many of whom are in civilian dress. Now, they may or may not work for Hezbollah, they may be bystanders, but, you know, there are...
Wait, is it BBC or is it another one that is crooked? Oh, we don't know who they are. Like, Hezbollah said those are their employees and workers. Like, Hezbollah said it. Like, they're being honest. Come on, who are you? Who are you? What are you? What is this? What is this thing? Do you guys recognize?
Don't appear to be designed to be lethal. So they've inflicted some very nasty wounds, some injuries on people, many of whom are in civilian dress. Now, they may or may not work for Hezbollah, they may be bystanders, but, you know, there are hundreds of wounded who have been brought to hospitals across Lebanon.
בדיילי מייל הבריטי נכתב בכותרת הראשית פצצות הביפר של ישראל. בניו יורק טיימס ציינו...
First of all, I have to say, what is this? Israel did not take responsibility. Why is everybody blaming us? I want to take a moment. First of all, okay, let me happy, joy. I know you're poor, then your job is to like, comment, and share. Like watch my videos and, like, I don't know, randomly share it. With your grandma, your mom, your people you didn't talk to for 10 years or so. Doesn't matter, just send it. That's how you can contribute to the struggle. That's really, actually, that would help a lot too. 100%. Like, do your own work. Share my videos, please. Yeah, anyway, here is the thing. I was about to tell you a heartbreaking personal story here. So, you know what it reminds me of? The fact that, like, everybody blames Israel automatically, like it could have been any country, really. What if it's Iran? You know, Iran is like targeting Hizbullah and Hamas. Like they might have targeted Ania, right? Like maybe it was the Iranians. Maybe it has nothing to do with, like, why? Anyway, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. When I were younger and shared food with my family. Let's say there was a situation, like for example, there was a strawberry cake and the strawberries disappeared. What would you think happened? Well, automatically, they'd be like, Rebecca, why do you eat only the strawberries? And I'm like, why me? I have so many siblings. Why me? It was me. It was always me. But still, annoying. That's it. Personal trauma. I'll continue now.
ציינו כי הפיצוצים התרחשו לאחר שישראל איימה על חיזבאללה. סדרת הפיצוצים היא הסיפור המרכזי בכל העיתונים החשובים בגלובוס.
The Ministry of Health.
Literally, the more I watch, like, articles to share with you guys, I realized, like, most of the sentences are just fillers. Like, the sentences, it's like, and also, and then they bring another article. Like, they could have had this compilation without the Hebrew intermission.
Health have, as you said, told people to throw their pagers away, to discard them, suggesting that this is not an attack that is just affecting Hezbollah members. At this point, hundreds believed to be injured.
ערוצי הטלוויזיה ניסו לקבל את תגובתם של בכירים ישראלים על רקע מה שנראה עוד לפני סדרת הפיצוצים כשעות גורליות בגזרה הצפונית.
Yeah, like, I want to talk about, like, how much it was, like, first of all, like, Israel had updated their status, you know, from in relationship to situationship, or from situationship to relationship. That would be more accurate if a war is a relationship. You know, love is war and stuff like that. Whatever. Yeah, so it's been like, obviously, it could, like, the situation could not have been tolerated anymore. So there was like, okay, what's going to happen? And even between yesterday and now, people are like, okay, so this mayhem was created. Isn't it the best time to strike and, like, enter Lebanon? And then it was like people were like, why we're not entering? Why, like disappointed. And today we had another blast. So people are like, starting to think maybe we should just have patience. Maybe we need to see what happens. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow it's gonna be like factories. Who knows? Like they go bigger and bigger.
A year, the residents in the north had to leave their homes, their schools, their businesses, and live like refugees in their own country. We have said numerous times, it will not continue forever.
ובעוד שהתמונה המלאה עדיין לא ברורה, התקשורת העולמית מסכימה. זהו אירוע חסר תקדים שעשוי
Yeah, that's the bragging stage. Wait, I wanna address the strawberry situation. I see I'm not the only one. Rebecca, it was always my eldest daughter too, but she's very traumatized by me, always knowing it was her. Yes. Your daughter and I understand. I truly do. Yeah, that was a super cool operation. And that is before today even, so it's getting cooler.
לשנות את כללי המשחק באזור. השאלה המרכזית היא, האם מדובר בנקודת מפנה בעימות בצפון?
So that's the question. Is it like, what's gonna happen next as well? Is it gonna be ground invasion? Is it not gonna be ground invasion? Is it gonna be... I mean, this is genius. It's genius. Because I'll say, there is always, you know, the most ideal scenario is... oh, sorry for this white screen. I don't know why. It's like, here. Is me tired, you see? Anyway. What are you guys saying? All right, let's review. We've been having an intolerable situation with Hezbollah for a year now. All of the north of Israel, the residents of Israel could not stay. They had to evacuate, and they've been living in hotels till now. So if you want to imagine how it's like to live in a cramped hotel room, the whole family is not as fun as it sounds. Like for 2 days, 3 days, a week, tolerable. But personal space is very important. Anyway. Somebody saying, unfortunately, it wasn't planned to happen now. I heard this, that when it's not like, okay, I'm not gonna like judge the timing, whether it was on purpose or not. I don't know. There are so many things running. It's incredible. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading your comments because otherwise we're not gonna get anywhere. And here, I have to go through the points I've wrote. Dylan, thank you for noticing. It is a new camera. Yes, I've connected my Canon to my computer. Damn, I'm doing so good with not reading comments instead of going through what happened. What can I say? This event reminded me things that happened that I cannot talk about. There is so much like this thing that everybody knows it's Israel, but Israel never admits it's such a pattern. I remember when I was in the army. Now it's open source. Now everybody knows that. It was actually a secret that Israel was the one that bombed the nuclear facilities in Syria. Like anyone in the world thought it could have been anyone else. Like I don't know, like some like optimistic people might be thinking, oh, it could have been the US, but the US wouldn't not take credit, I guess. I don't know. The United States is weird the way it operates. Just not exactly something they do. So like, who did not know that it was Israel? Who didn't know that those who bombed like the nuclear facilities of Syria are Israel? Everybody knew that. And it was a secret. And it's like, it's not a secret anymore, but it was a secret. a secret. So it's like, it's a thing. So, but still, you know, I feel like at the time was like, come on, at least have some doubt. Maybe there's somebody else who could do it. Like Hezbollah, like didn't Germany just find like a whole network of drones of Hezbollah? Like maybe it was them. Like why is everybody straightforward jumping to blame Israel? Also, like, why doesn't the Mossad get all the credit all the time? There are other units too. Actually, Masur Ashkar made a video about it, and then I wanted to, and I commented on something that he did. Like I made a video that came out a bit with the sound a bit off, but whatever. I'm gonna post it anyway, and you guys are gonna suffer. It was like, okay, it could have been like also like everybody talks about the Mossad, but unit 8200 8200 also does a lot of things. Like it's like you should also like give them some credit. There is more, it's very likely they had some hand in it too. And I was like, yeah, but like I think you're missing a unit. And that the other unit is, I think, supposed to be even more secretive. But then I saw Mossab, you know, Mossab Hassan Youssef, the son of the Hamas, the Green Prince. Like he named the unit that I was like, this is the unit I think was in it. Like a good, and also I think it was separated, right? Everybody, like those who knew about the beepers not necessarily knew about the walkie-talkies. Let me say it like that, because they probably had to find a way to insert the bomb, and then units like one would work on like thinking how to embed it on a pager, and somebody else completely would think on how to embed it on a walkie-talkie. And those who work on that do not necessarily know like that how it's going to be used. So you have like, you know, the prototype and then the audition, and you know, if it could be factory workers that think it's just a normal part of the assembly, that they don't even know what they're inserting. So you have one, you like, I'm just saying how information can be, how can you do something really big with only one person knowing the whole picture, right? Or a few, right? Because those who figure out how to do it on a pager do not necessarily know about those who try to do it on a walkie-talkie. I mean, Israelis are not that good at keeping secrets, so it might have crossed, but still. And then when like those they figured out, right? That doesn't mean they are aware of how this realization is going to be used. And those who are assembling the lineup or putting it, like it might be just random workers, right? Like you do it to 1,000 beepers. That's something that like that's a line. That's a lot of time. It's not like you stop something for 5 minutes and do it to 1,000 things. Like I cannot imagine that, at least. Maybe I'm not imaginative enough. But you can have an assembly line of people like building up those pagers without knowing that one of the components that they are adding as part of the assembly is actually a bomb. So that's, and then, you know, and then how it's being used and things like, and everybody like knows something else, and that's important, because Israelis, like, ever since like we had this one person that was caught by the Syrians, and there wasn't enough segregation between different intelligence departments, and he just knew everything. And I don't remember, but like they called him like the singing soldier. Like he told everything, and the Syrians found out like basically all of the Israeli intelligence, like everything, just because there wasn't enough segregation. It's like, okay, you have to make sure people just know their part, you know. So, and then it's so interesting. So the company is like Taiwanese, but I think it was manufactured or something like that done via a company that is looking like it was a fake company, in Hungary. So my guess is that somehow the Taiwan pager manufacturers might have gotten a really good deal. They're like, oh my God, you can get really good work at like slavery prices. Who's gonna say no to that? I guess that's like, there could be million scenarios, right? And I was like, sure. And then it was like, and then you have this another fake company. I was like, sure, we're the best. Like, we're really, don't worry, we're outsourcing it. And then you have a third country, which shall not be named, maybe, where the pagers are actually being assembled. I was like, and then you have this company who's like, you know, and then nobody knows nothing. Except the fake company. They know what they're doing, and now they have disappeared. Yeah, it was in Hungary. But, you know, but then it's not just pagers. There are a lot of other things that had today. I heard that, like, you have, like, you know, the systems where you put your fingerprints. Those things, some of them also exploded. And you have walkie-talkies that exploded, cars that exploded. I kind of want to read, like, it's always updating. I don't know. It's like so many things. Yeah, and then like, oh, by the way, yes, Drew, it's not just one thing for sure. Not all of them are like the pagers. Some are just like you passed by, you saw an opportunity, you inserted something in, like, on the go, and then it's gonna be one technological device of that kind, or that also enjoys like exploding randomly just because it's on the go. It's like, let's pretend it's all connected, but it might be really not connected at all. There's like, it could be completely different ways of operation. I also thought like it was so relatively easy to look at that Taiwanese company. I was like seeing this Hungarian fake company, and like, oh, something is like this path is like toast, right? This kind of operation method is gonna be harder for at least the next week, because I think this is how far the average human thinks a week. By the way, notice how Hassan Nasrallah was not confused. Right away after that the BPR accident, he said, stay away from all electronic devices. Like, he knew that it's not going to end with the pagers. So that is also something, like, you see, they're not stupid either. Yes, please read on today's updates items that were beep booming today. Yeah, I'll let that. New devices or old devices have been deadly in so many ways. Yeah. Imagine how sucked. Listen, that's also the most amazing, like, the fact that, like, they didn't do it all at once, that they had waited another day. For everybody, it was like, what's now? What's gonna happen, you know? And they're like, just people like from both sides, right? Like, there is like, okay, we have to act, like, you know, gather up, like, but, and then you get it once again, that's like a strike. Like, that's psychologically, I think, way harder than getting everything exploding in the same time. So that's amazing. Nobody will buy pagers anymore. But here's the thing. I'm kind of certain that it was not the wrong call. If they weren't getting the pagers, then their phones would have been the ones that are exploding. Or if not exploding, then like completely hacked, and like all the data and information would be available there. Like that's high level of genius. Like, and also like when you build something like that, you try to, maximize your chances by, like they did, like I think it's also they got lucky, right? Maybe they thought some would work, some not. Maybe some didn't work. Maybe there were a lot more that was planned to go boom. Who knows? Let me see if there are any updates real quick, since it's still. By the way, the UN had sweetly decided that the best thing to do is to embargo Israel, and it's like in so they had a voting, and the UN was like, we have to embargo Israel. Like the vast majority of the countries, 124 countries, had voted to not sell weapons to Israel anymore. How sweet of them. I mean, those are terrorists. You cannot get a more targeted attack than that. It's like people have lost their minds completely. And it's like it looks like more and more looks like there is like hardcore betrayal of humans, of humanity. Like when Germany is cooperating with that, like silently trying to embargo Israel, when they allow terrorists in the country without check, and they know it. The crazy thing, they know it. They know what they're doing and they don't care. It's like, you cannot think that they just, like that it's kind of like the elites are like, okay, let's make humanity go extinct and we're gonna share stuff between. I don't know whether, like, I mean, also, by the way, you cannot ever underestimate what an ideology can do to you, because it can actually stop you from, it's malfunctioning, like your brain malfunctions when you're ideologically like blinded. For example, in the USSR, they had sold artworks that were worth millions and millions cheap. Like, it's like you'd sell a car, a luxury car, or no, it's art. It's like art. They sold super expensive art to the West, super cheap because they needed money fast. And it didn't make sense. Like they could have sold this, they could have sold this if they'd done it properly. They could have auctioned it. They could have sold artwork and get billions, like priceless work. But what was there, like, you have to understand, like when people, like the ideology is fucked up, when people don't, when there is like a generation that doesn't know how to think, what they were thinking, like the communists, what they were thinking, they were certain that it's just a temporary, because the communism is gonna be so popular and it's gonna be everywhere, then they're gonna sell it now and they're gonna get it back tomorrow anyway. Like they believed it, that was the rationale. They didn't bother selling it in the real price, because like, why? We're gonna get it back tomorrow. Like this really how they thought. It's amazing how much people can be delusional. Like ideology makes, like you can see it with the Gazans too. Like they don't understand cause and effect. Like fundamentally don't understand it. Like they are just baffled. They don't understand why those things happen to them. Like they don't understand. Like seriously do not understand. It's like you can only look at them and think like, and I don't think they're faking it. I don't think they're faking it. They really somewhere lost the cause and effect logical thinking. Like ideology can actually like do brain damage. So let me see. Thank you. Somebody likes me, supports me. Thank you, Ayatollah Khamenei, for super chatting me. This is the worst testicular attack since Diogenes tried slapping Alexander's balls back in 336 AD. Yep. I mean, that's the amazing. You remember, like, when I made the Destiny video, then I said that, and he commented on the like on that Israeli soldiers like film stuff, and I said yes, it doesn't look good to the West, but for the Arabs, like this is the thing that work. They have to see themselves getting humiliated. Like they have to see the Jewish prayer in a mosque. Like they need to see that, because there is one thing, okay? So when I was younger, there was one story. I mean, there were many, but this one, I don't know, it bugged me. I didn't understand the story of Elijah when he had competed with a different prophet, like of the Baal, a different god, and he had like called for a competition. And it was like a barbecue competition, and the one that like ignites the fire first is like, this is the stronger god. And I just thought, like, you know, that's such a weird pagan. Why would Elijah do something that is so fundamentally pagan? And then now I get it. Now I get it. Here's the thing, like they need to see that our God is stronger than theirs. If they see that Jehovah is stronger than Allah, that might be the only thing that will make a change. Like they need to see this humiliation, this hardcore, they be like, there is no way God is with them. Like this is how they have to feel. Like there is no way a just Islamic God would allow something like that to happen to the prideful. Like because death, they have pride in death. Oh, there is another good story from the Bible, which is very, when you read it, like, oh, that's Islamic thinking. So there was one king, Elimelech, I think. So here's the thing. He fought against, I don't remember Tkoa, was it? What was the city? Anyway, they fought against the city, and nobody could have defeated him until some woman just took like a huge boulder, like part of you have the stones to make like a meal, like to make a flour. It's heavy, so she grabbed that and she threw it on him, and it hit his head, and he was dying. And then he told his comrade so to quickly kill him, so it won't be he won't die by the hands of a woman. Like he wanted his comrade to kill him, so it wouldn't be his name that would precede him forward wouldn't be that king that the woman killed. And guess what? Like, even though his faithful comrade had killed him so that he wouldn't get this humiliating title, this is the only way people had known him for. Like, oh yeah, that king that a woman killed, yeah. Like this is how it was referenced anyway, so it didn't work. He's still even with this genuine effort to not be the person that fought the army so bravely just to be killed by a woman, ended up not getting that, you know, he was still killed by a woman, which I think was a great honor, Elimelech. I don't know what's here. I think it was Elimelech. It will be such a fadicha if I'm wrong here, but I don't know. I think it was Elimelech. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only that, this is the only logic they operate with. They have to say that Allah is weak. Allah would, like, they would die as martyrs, but having their balls blown off, like, that is like hardcore humiliation. Having Jews, you know, effing Jews, read the Torah and pray in a mosque and take over it. Oh, that's hardcore humiliation. And that is the logic. Like, this is where I understood, like, this is the logic. Like, only now, I honestly, when I was like figured out, like, we have to fight against Allah. Like at some point, like this is like I was like I figured like I had an epiphany. It's like they don't understand logic. They don't understand. There is no morality, no logic, no empathy, nothing. Only one thing. I was like, and then I just like remembered this story about Elijah fighting against the prophets of the Baal to show that our God is stronger. That this is what we like. Finally, I was like, oh, this is why. That's the only way. No matter how much you explain, like our God is so much more better. It's like so much more like the way we live, our rules is so much more productive, is so much more healthy, is so much better because of this and that. It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. The only way is if you win in their game, because this is the only thing they can understand. So they have to understand that Allah is disappointing. It doesn't work. We're like, what kind of, how can a God that loves jihad, like, you know, that preaches jihad, that loves the Muslim nation, the Ummah, that had cursed the Jews, how could he allow his prestigious fighters, instead of dying as martyrs, which is the highest prestige you can get, like this is pride, they just keep living but without their balls. Now this is fighting against Allah. This is fighting against God. Ayatollah Khamenei. Jews blowing up your balls has to be some kind of do not pass go, do not collect $200 in the Islamic afterlife monopoly. Oh my God. Yeah, 1%. Like, and then the West is the other way around. Like they see Jews. By the way, you know who got like David Wood, right? They're like, oh, you think, oh, you're gonna threaten us? Okay, we're gonna eat the Quran. We're gonna mock Allah. We're gonna make fun of Muhammad. And that works. And it's like, why? And like, why does it work? Why does it work? Because this is their fundamental belief. Like they believe in death, but they believe in honor. And this is why it was so devastating for ISIS fighters to get killed by Kurdish women. Speaking of which, you see, same story. And this is like, I think they should all go home for a second and ask themselves if a real good, strong God would allow his fighters to get abused that much. Would he? See, this is what they need. This is what they need. This is the only thing that, because death doesn't work, they have to be humiliated. Like this is what they psychologically need, you know, to get over this sociopathic, narcissistic, lunatic, logic malfunctioning programming that they are installed with. They need severe trauma. But no amount of death would be enough. And it's not like the Japanese. The Japanese, you drop an atom bomb, and then it's like this is the trauma. Like you saw the Gazans, like they're gonna fight until the last drop. If they believe that in the ideology that behind it, like until the last person, they're not gonna give up. Like you can see that like some are giving up, but the vast majority do not, even until now. What makes them rethink things? When they get humiliated, when it hurts, when they lose ground, because Allah, how can it be that Allah would let them lose ground to the Jews? Or when they, the Jews take over a mosque and pray there. Or when, you know, it's like, this is the crazy thing. But I want to go through your comments real quick. And then the West is like, oh, it's not nice. Oh, yeah. So this is what I was saying. I said it like I said, I made a comment about it on the Destiny. Like, yeah, the West doesn't want to see that footage, but Israel. Why does Israel struggle so much? Because we have to like the completely different psychology talking to the West or talking to the Arab world. And obviously, if they look at us here, like we cannot do both, right? It's like destiny is coming, like this high and mighty, this God, like he thinks he's a God, right? It's like, dude, how about, like, you know why I know he's stupid? Because when you come to a place and you're like, why do they do that? Can you please, like, maybe ask first, always ask first, like, is there a reason that their soldiers are praying in a mosque? Easily explainable. This is how they understand that Allah is losing, and this is what the Arabs need to see. And then the West look at like gets outraged, and then people are like, why does Israel had decided that they like you can, and that's the problem, like you cannot do both. You have to choose. You lose here or you lose there. You speak Arabic or you speak English. And Hebrew is, let's say, the brutality is in the middle. So if from Hebrew to Arabic, you have to, you have to make it like 100 times more brutal. And to go from Hebrew to English, you have to make it 1,000 times more mild. And as you can tell, the gap is bigger. So it's harder. Anyway, it's easier to go 100 times more hardcore. And let's be honest, like, and Judaism has it in it, right? It just like, it became like 100 times less because we're trying to appease the West, but it's either or. And at some point, Israel understood that you cannot do both. You cannot, it just doesn't work. So you have to choose, like, are you going to win the Arabs or die, but the West will feel pity for you? Rebecca, not true. The West bombarded Germany and Japan like there is no tomorrow. They just forgot how to win wars, that's all. They done that after how many deaths? I mean, this is the part where, like, no, like, they know how to lose their minds. They know, like, when you do something too late, then this is what you have. Like, if you go that far, right? You lose. But they, and first of all, like, Japan, Japan had to go through that. Japan was a fundamentalist society. People are like, oh, like, think about Japan today as like this anime loving. Japan was a harakiri society. They would, like, honor, like, they would kill, like, they were brutal, they were awful, they tortured Chinese in the millions. They were awful. They had to go, like, they didn't get the memo after one atom bomb. They need to have two. And I really believe that was the humane option. That was the humane option. The problem with the Gazans is that, or the Arab world, the Muslim world is like, yeah, an atom bomb is not enough. It's just not their language. So, and I'm sorry, it's not true. Like, the West bombarded Germany and Japan like there was no tomorrow. I'm sorry, because, like, even the stupid West could not ignore deaths of tens of millions. Like, no matter how deranged and stupid you are, at some point you have to do what you're supposed to do. And now guess what? If they done it in time, then it would have been like way easier, and not that wouldn't blow up to those proportions. So Japanese were not Nazis, so what? Those Muslims are not Nazis either. They're worse than Nazis. Chinese, like, so what? So Japanese were insane. Yeah, they believed their emperor was a literal god, and they've been taught to die for him. Like this was like what did the America like why how come everybody forgot that America had stayed in South Korea and then Japan for 20 years to rewrite their education system. They didn't have democracy. They didn't. Those places did not have democracy. Their whole education system, like the Americans forced the Japanese to abandon their all ethos or all pathos, like the religious part, like where they're the place that the sun rises from, and like basically this is they were living their life believing that the sun shined out of their asses. Wasn't very good for them. The atom bomb kind of proved the point, right? Like maybe the sun doesn't shine out of our asses. But but like the thing with like Japan, at least they did it for the empire or for Japan. So something had to stay alive. The beauty with Islam that everything can go kaput from top to bottom. There is nothing to like. There is no. You don't like try to defend something. You just are a fanatic person that like there. It's worse. It's worse, to be honest. I see. I think we made the martial arts illegal during the occupation. We replaced it with baseball. Yeah, and also like the song my Shabte my Besason. It became super popular because they brought up songs like because they were kind of depressed. The Japanese after their ego was completely smashed. Yeah. So they brought also like this communal dancing, and until now it's a very famous song in Japan. Like it's funny because they brought it like it's one of many, I think, but it's funny. What are you guys talking about? I want to be in the talk. My, Mr. Son, my. Do I think the atom bomb was humane? Why do you think the atom bomb was humane? Not disagreeing, just wondering your perspective. In what sense? Like the Japanese had to feel like, how there is the story of a Japanese man that was stranded in an island, and he thought for decades after the war had ended that the war continues, and he kept fighting all of those decades. The atom bomb was something that like they couldn't imagine. Like it was something that was like so much beyond their comprehension that they had to stop believing that the sun shines out of their asses and be like, okay, maybe it doesn't. But it had to be something like major, like real gap. But the thing is like the reason that they developed the atom bomb is because Germany was developing it. Germany knew it's possible. So Einstein wrote to the American president, was it Roosevelt? He wrote his letter, and I think his letter was auctioned like a couple of days ago, where he's like, the Germans are developing an atom bomb. So it was an arms race. It was an arms race situation. And it ended up being that the Germans were kind of far. So the Allies had devastated Germany without the use of the atom bomb. But just because the war with Germany had ended doesn't mean that with it ended with the Japanese that were like they were crazy. The Japanese were insane. So they had to see something that was so much out of their realm of understanding for them to stop thinking that, I think I've said it so many times. Rebecca, can you imagine what would have happened if the Germans got the bomb first? Holy crap. Well, you see, how is it, like atomic science, how they call it, like relativity, quantum mechanics and relativity were Jewish sciences, right? It's like they were really far. Like they could have had it if they were smart enough to, I don't know, just keep the Jewish scientists and like send the kids, like keep the good Jews, keep the Jews that would give you an atom bomb and force and protect, and I don't know, put them in a room and like don't tell them what's going on outside. I don't know, which they lost immediately because like they ran way before. But this is basically what the United States did, because the Roosevelt had refused, they had refused Jewish refugees. So kids were not welcome, but they had opened their and embraced all the Jewish scientists. So it was just this like cynical use of Jewish scientists. Just the Germans ended up being more stupid about it than the Americans. The Arabic tribes, Japanese were worse than the Nazis. Look at what they did in Nakin, and look up Unit 731. What happened there was worse than German camp. Listen. Like the Germans, like they were systematic, they were pragmatic, but they weren't they were efficient. They were efficient. They were obsessive. It was an OCD kind of situation. They had their sadists. But it's not what the Japanese did, and it's not like the Armenian Holocaust. Like the Armenian Holocaust, they had what they did on October 7th. Like what they did on October 7th was like the most brutal stories you hear from the Holocaust. That's what they did. Of course, they didn't like starve them slowly and like they finished it fast, but like, so they did that to the Armenians, but to 2 million people, which is also insane. So I've actually like this conversation, like what makes the Holocaust special? Well, like what makes the Holocaust special is what's the same thing that we see today in the UN, where everybody on paper agrees that Hezbollah is a terrorist organization and you should fight terrorism. But when Israel does the most the most precise strike that nobody else could have even imagined on going to that direction, there is nothing it's like the atom bomb. It's literally like the atom bomb, because this is how incomprehensible it was. It was like what happened was like the atom bomb, in a sense that nobody could imagine you can get those kind of results or numbers with those conditions, right? No civilian casualties and getting all the terrorists. And what happened? We got armed, the vast majority of the countries in the world decided that the right way to respond is not to say, thank you, Israel, for getting rid of terrorists. By the way, people were dancing in the street in Iran and dancing in the street in Syria, and Lebanese people were dancing and they were happy. But this is I said, this is betrayal. Every country, all those, they are betraying their own people. They're betraying the Syrians. The Syrians were happy about it, the normal ones. And it's and then what do you get for it? Arms embargo. So what makes the Holocaust special? It was a global effort. All the countries in the world had collaborated to try to head towards a world where Jews are getting genocided. And everybody did their part. the America closed the borders, closed the immigration. The Brits said did not allow Jews to go to hide in Israel, to go to the land of Israel, to Palestine. They had closed the door. They had allowed the pogroms and the Holocaust planning of the Arab world that wasn't even under German occupation. They had effectively, like, the anti-Semitism in the United States and the Britain was brutal. And there were two places that the USSR was a temporary hideout, just to couple of in the 50s, in the early 50s, they planned their own Holocaust, and that did not come to be. So that the Holocaust, especially, this was a global effort, global effort. So that's what makes it crazy, because usually you just genocide your neighbors. It's local. And the Holocaust went for years. So it started starts in the 20s with the Nuremberg laws, and 30s, 20s, the anti-Semitism. You saw it, right? It took years, and it wasn't a quick campaign and okay, we genocide because or something like that. It was years and years, and then years of active extermination, a long period of time. So a long period of time, and really worldwide collaboration. They just begged the United States, begged the Allies to bomb the pathway to Auschwitz. How hard it was, so easy, and they didn't do it. They begged, please just bomb the pathway to Auschwitz. Well, they wouldn't do it. Japanese thought the emperor was the offspring of the sun, so we dropped a baby son on their backyard to let them know this belief was incorrect. Yes, exactly. Yes, this is the brutality. Now it's oh, the Japanese are so look at their cute outfits, and it's, first of all, it's still a brutal society, just for the record, and second of all, it's such a it's you think those Muslim countries, you can only win if you fight against Allah. You have to fight against their God. That's the only way to win. So yeah, so this is what makes the Holocaust unique. Everything else was local, It wasn't the whole world collaborating. Hey, let's get rid of the Jews. And what do I have against the Japanese? The Japanese, it's a brutal society. The elderly there actively abuse the youngsters because they want them to suffer as much as they have suffered in their youth. But I think they have suppressed their suffering a long time ago, but they wouldn't care. Japan is a country where the elders do not care about the youngsters. They believe that the young generation needs to suffer. They have no mercy. And I'm sorry, society where you feel your grandchildren, your kin has to suffer, that's effed up. Cossacks wiped out 300,000 Jews in the 17th century. Yes. And also there were the pogroms in Russia. There were a lot of things. It's there were many genocides, all the time, everywhere. It's not it's the only thing that the Holocaust is it never was that the whole world agreed to wipe out one minority. That's a weird concept. Like you see the same thing with Israel now. It's a tiny country. Nobody obsesses like that about Taiwan. Nobody obsesses like that with any other place, with Cyprus. Cyprus is divided between, like it's half invaded. Like nobody cares. What are they obsessed with Israel? And that's a worldwide, like that's a global phenomenon. Like that's unnatural. This is what it's like. There is nothing changed. That's the shocking part. I realized pretty fast that the presentation that after the Holocaust the world had understood what had happened, and therefore they decided to fix their ways, was a lie. It was never true. Like Jews who tried to go back to home, they were massacred. Like Jews who tried to claim their old homes, they didn't get them back. It was they very fast realized that trying to get their old apartment is a death wish. So, and by the way, everybody is talking, right, you know, about the Nakba, right? Of course, there were more Jews. Like, first of all, the numbers are exaggerated when it comes to the Palestinians, as always. It's probably not 700,000, maybe probably less. Like every year, it somehow becomes more and more people. There's a 400 and then there's 7. Like every year, they exaggerate the number. But like no matter what, like the consensus is there were more Jews that had to flee Arab countries than the Palestinians that have left with the Nakba. And there was one thing that nobody ever talks about, which is how they fled, right? The Palestinians just fled, right? They just left on their own accord, and then they weren't allowed back. They just weren't allowed to flee. They weren't allowed to flee. Like, and by the way, like the lands that were taken away from the Jews were like, that's like tens of times bigger than the land of Israel. 20% of third of Baghdad was Jewish. Third of Baghdad was Jewish, and then they had the Fawhud and everything like that, and they planned to massacre all the Jews. Like, and it was a good number of the city was Jewish. And here's the thing, like nobody ever talks about the fact that it's not that they were like okay, you have a country, now go. They were airlifted. They were airlifted. Israel had brought planes to Yemen. Like they either, like in Ethiopia, they had to sneak out and walk until there was a place where they can be taken out. They had to be like, nobody was letting them go. Like the Iraq, where they let go, were like, okay, go, now we shoot you. No. And there was like, it was a Morocco. No, they were about to kill all of them. But Israel was already founded. So they airlifted 130,000 Jews in a night. Or I don't know how, like, to take them away. They didn't flee in a sense that like the Palestinians fled in the Nakba. It's not, if it was really, like if the Nakba was the way that it would happen to the Jews, then that would be that the Israelis would try to stop them from fleeing, right? And would want to massacre them. And then planes would land on the camps where the Palestinians are and like take them out of the territory. This is how the Jews fled Arab countries. They weren't let go. It's like, it's like, let my people go. They're like, you cannot just go. They're like, go where? Walk the desert until you reach Israel, like without getting slaughtered on the way? The Uralic tribes. I love how Muslims say they treated Jews well before Israel was established, yet they launched pogroms against Jews all throughout the 19th. I mean, when did the Muslims ever say something that is remotely close to reality? Like, that's what they do? They always lie. It's what they do. They're liars. There is nothing that comes out of their mouth that has anything to do with reality. If somebody is identifies as Muslim, that's a red flag. Like, those are liars. Like, those are compulsive liars. Nothing they say is true. Not even what they eat what do they eat in the morning. They won't give you a clear answer on that either, believe me. Like, this is how, like, and I was like, so yeah, that's what, and like now Israel, like something changed. Nothing changed. We're in the same situation as we were before. Just what we are united now. Like the Jews were like, oh, they fled Iraq. They didn't flee Iraq. They fled Holocaust. They ran away from a week later they would have been Holocausted, you know? Yeah. Charlie Lamont, I want you to know that your being here on your channel gives us up. Thank you so much. Also, if you guys want to support me, I really, really would appreciate it. I'm sure that me going on tangent now would get me automatically demonetized and stuff. So please join the Patreon. I have a buy me coffee link below, everything, like PayPal, whatever. Whatever you can do so that I could continue doing that. Yeah. It's not easy to do YouTube. It's a lot of work. So okay, any other last things I wanna, okay, let me go through, see what's happening. Posted prophet, wait, let me show you. I was like, people of Israel, you see how your haters are reacting to you. You cannot please them. Do not feel the need to explain yourselves and apologize for wanting to live. They would let you die and then make dramatic movies about you. You don't owe them anything. Be proud. Oh, it's so cute. Let me share this. That's insane. Okay, so showing you my Twitter is probably a bad idea, right? But I think I do want to go through it, but some of the images are brutal. And that's like what I hate. Is like, I hate the people that they bring up the notion that Israelis should explain themselves to the West. I know the West. They want us to die. They just don't want to be the ones that dirty their hands. And it's a complete deranged, like, it's literally like two psychologists, right? Like, I believe that we're the majority. Like, people adapt. Even, you know what? Even like, you know, most of the Germans were not Nazis. Most of the Muslims are Nazis. Like, are Muslim, you know, most, like, the numbers are different. They're way worse. But anyway. I do believe like that, but just it's hard to fight psychopaths. They will do anything. Adaptive Vigil. Thank you so much for your support. What are you guys saying? You say most of Germans were Nazis. Yeah. Makes sense. The secret war against the Jews. I mean, it's a psychological thing. Sure, but corpses of my ancestors litter the battlefields of Europe defeating Hitler. Yes, but if you had not, done it in time, instead of trying to ignoring the direction that the Germans were clearly going, then you would not have had all those corpses. You fucking retarded. Like, I cannot stand this disability, like a real revenge, taking responsibility. France could have stopped Germany on day one. They were ready to flee. They were ready to stop the aggressions. And nobody stopped them. So you got corpses. Has nothing to do with the Jews. We, the Americans, always put the Lord first, so God has made us the most powerful nation in the world. We stand by Israel and are the defender and the defenseless. Yes, but there are a lot of communists and all kind of other sick individuals. I mean, I think I have to say, like, the forefathers of the United States, they were so smart. So smart. Like, I admire them. I mean, America is a genius country. Genius. Mm-hmm. Misha. Mossad is lit. I'm dying laughing. Very naughty warfare. They thought low tech won't be infiltrated. Yeah, that's like the operation is insane, and it's so beautiful. Like it's the most clean operation you can do. And here's the thing: if the world is not gonna, what do you think they're gonna stop? Germans, the Nazis, the sweet Nazis. They had the plans, right? Like, it doesn't end with the Jews or the Slavs, or like they eliminate everyone. There is also ranking among the Germans, and Islam is the same way, and it's the same ideology. It's like Plato talk about it, or Socrates talk, like one of those ancient philosophers. It's like it's not even new. It's the same thing every time. Mm-hmm. It was yes. Yeah, the US is declining when Qatar funds US universities breeding geniuses. Yeah. I showed up. How will IDF deal with the blowback? Of whom? The thing is, like, the communism thing is like, it's always the same thing. It's like you want to the tyrant, right? This is the okay, guys. I have to show it to you. I'll just do it now. I have it saved, a video that I saw. I'm gonna react to it. Are you guys good, or do you all are like tired and want to go to sleep or something? Mm. Mm. You guys tired or what? Okay, maybe we watch a little bit. Just need to find it first.
Now, is Prince William going to make history by becoming the first British monarch since Henry VIII to...
Sorry. Let me find one more thing. Why is it not working? Okay. If I was Israel, I wouldn't be too pleased with the West. It's all good, Rebecca. Oh, I know. Like, I'm gonna listen to those people that would wanna, like, you think I'm stupid? I know they're part of, like... I know who I am, you know? It's like, if I have to fight alone against the whole world, that's the way it will be. Here.
Imagine a government that fears its own people, a system where open debate is seen as a threat, where gatherings are suspicious, and where wealth is deliberately drained from the masses. Sounds familiar? This isn't just a description of any modern authoritarian state. This is tyranny as Aristotle described it over 2,300 years ago. And he wasn't just theorizing about tyranny. He had personal experience with tyrants from multiple angles. As a young man in Athens, he witnessed the aftermath.
It's so beautiful because you see, I listened to that, I was like, oh, it was always some sort of the communism. It's like always like, oh, let's redistribute the pie. And then stupid masses follow the tyrant. And that becomes a very unstable ruling.
Aftermath of the rule of the 30 tyrants. And later in life, Aristotle had a close relationship with Hermias, who was the tyrant of Atarneus. Combined with his studies, these personal exposures to tyranny provided Aristotle with a keen insight into the nature of tyrannical rule. They provided him with a nuanced understanding of how tyranny affects both societies and individuals, and how philosophical principles can stand in opposition to tyrannical power. For Aristotle, tyranny wasn't just about cruel dictators, it was an entire system of governance, an institution designed to perpetuate unjust rule. And understanding it might be just as relevant today as it was back then. But why should we care about an ancient Greek philosopher's thoughts on government? Because Aristotle's insights provide a framework for understanding political systems that goes far beyond his time. His analysis helps us recognize both the subtle and the not-so-subtle ways in which power can be misused, even in societies that claim to be free. Aristotle's analysis helps us make sense of political phenomena.
12 minutes. I feel like I'm just gonna jump randomly. It's too long.
Benefit of the rulers rather than the governed. But what does this mean in practice? Tyranny, in Aristotle's view, is a corruption of legitimate forms of government. It combines all the bad elements of both oligarchy and democracy, taking the concentration of wealth from the former and the disregard for law and tradition from the latter. Interestingly, Aristotle notes that tyrants are often chosen from the meanest group of people. This suggests that tyranny isn't simply imposed from above, but can arise from within the population, especially in times of social upheaval. The result is a society where law becomes subservient to the ruler's will, state resources are used for personal gain rather than public good, and traditional checks on power are disrespected and eliminated. This stands in contrast to Aristotle's conception of a true king. While both a tyrant and a king might wield absolute power, the key distinction lies in the purpose of their rule. A tyrant governs for personal gain. A king respects the law and traditions and rules for the welfare of the community. Crucially, if the people no longer want the king's rule, a true king will willingly abdicate, something unthinkable for a tyrant. Aristotle argues that this situation makes tyranny inherently unstable. When a government systematically to tyranny, he argues, is paved with popular support and clever manipulation of societal divisions. In democracies, Aristotle observes...
The video is called The Timeless Truth About Tyranny According to Aristotle. And it's by Legendary Lore.
That tyrants often start as demagogues, charismatic leaders who gain popularity by championing the cause of the common people against the elite. They promise to address social inequalities and redistribute wealth. Let's look at a historical example, Pisistratus in Athens. Pisistratus rose to power in the 6th century BC by positioning himself as a champion of the common people.
Yep, basically the same thing every time, and those are the worst kind of tyrants. Amazing. 10 out of 10. We should keep learning about things, you know. I think it's not too late, but I think. Okay, let me read up what you're saying. Let me see if there is anything new that's happening. I don't know, maybe. It's funny that there was also Hezbollah had attempted to assassinate a former security person in Israel, Bogi Yalon. And all I could think is why? It's like he's nobody really. Why would you do that? It's such random. It's just for show, you know. It's like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, United States is mad that they didn't get updated. Oh, well, because they are not exactly trustworthy. Just look at how they are, you know, how they act so fiercely as their own borders are. Can't trust people that would not even care about their own people. I would say very basic. Let's see what's up. Yeah. I don't see anything. Nothing pops to mind. Oh, you guys are having a good conversation with each other. Or I see you're complimenting each other and everything. Wow. How nice. How sweet. Oh, yeah, I saw this one. This is one cool. I show you this. Okay. Paging system go live. Okay. Made it bigger. So as we upgraded our paging system to a new updated version with better coverage, we're officially decommissioning the old. What is this? Oh, I don't know why I did that. More than 2 weeks ago, on August 29th, employees of the American University Medical Center in Beirut received this email saying their old pagers will be replaced. So what does it mean? Does it mean that they got the malfunction in one on for some reason, and somebody was like, "Oh, we have to replace it fast before they get bundled up, and then will get scrutinized"? I think you could have added them in. At least it would, the embargo and all the scrutiny would be just a little bit justified. Still not justified, but at least something. I think we should start giving them reasons. I'm gonna get the same reaction anyway, so might as well be true. Uralic tribes. I love how people praise America yet ignore how they ruined the Nord Stream pipe and sponsored the bad guys in the Caucasus in the 90s after 9/11. Look, the Americans it's you cannot just lump everything together, right? It's every part, it's part of the free society. Every part of America does something different. You have the American people, they're one thing. You have the deep state, it's one thing. You have the parliament, the government, it's another. They do different things, right? And I think the deep state has this notion, or like they would cooperate with anyone that would provide them the easiest pathway to resources. So they would collaborate with anyone that they think it would be the easiest way of securing resources to themselves. So this is one thing, and then you have and then it depends, right? So, but that's the basic idea. Then the people, and there is the number one like flaw, which is a lot of Americans like they only know one culture, like American culture, and like they don't understand like even like switching between languages it gives you perspective, like about the way people think. Like things that are rooted in this culture is not rooted in different culture. While a lot of Americans that I got to meet, like they don't get it. There is just the American way, and then it's like they deal with others, and they assume over time that they're gonna do the logical thing, like right, they're gonna play with the Satan, but if the Satan benefits it, and it's clearly that it doesn't benefit the Satan to go against them, then the Satan would not go against them. Wrong, stupid thinking. And when somebody does an analysis that is logical and is 100% like based on transactions and things like that, I was like, that's an American school of thinking. Very, very, do not recommend. Like it's very limited. Very limited. People value different things differently. And that's something that's important to keep in mind. How are you guys? Yeah, Mossad inside. I mean, the famous Intel chips were developed in Haifa in Israel. What did Tom Lee say? Who is Tom Lee? I have a feeling it has nothing to do with politics. Cars are now. If Israel can do this in Beirut, they can do it everywhere. Well, so. Lebanon, that's the best outcome, by the way. I never got to say it. But if indeed Allah will fail them, and I mean, what kind of God would allow his devout followers to get this unprecedented kind of humiliation the way they got? I think it's time to ditch him and fight back. I really think that. What? Carlos Rodriguez, which support option taxes you list? I think the buy me coffee one, actually. Yeah. I think I like it the most. Thank you so much for your support, Carlos. I appreciate it a lot. So I saw that there were stones thrown at Unifil cars. Unifil were supposed to keep the peace by making sure that there is an area where Hezbollah won't take over. Of course, they did absolutely nothing because they were sent by the UN. So basically, they and Hezbollah are the same thing. So it might to me, I think those who I think they're Hezbollah. They're probably the same as Hezbollah. Like there is, I doubt there is any way they're not just the same. Just like the all the UN agencies, like the Red Cross, they did nothing during the Holocaust. They do nothing now. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. The only thing that happened that stopped the systematic genocidal campaign against the Jews is the fact that the war had ended and people were kind of tired. And then Israel was founded. By the way, nobody believed even that. Nobody thought Israel would be founded because the United States planned to betray Israel in the last moment. And they had to work, they had to beg. They went down on their knees, the Truman treated Weizmann like a dog, and they begged, and it was actually a surprising fact that Israel came to fruition. I think every country is shocked that there was an agreement of that. Not even the Holocaust was enough. Because people, after Holocaust, the countries felt bad, so they voted for to allow it to recognize Israel as a country. No, they didn't. They didn't. It was just that the Israelis were super sophisticated, so they positioned themselves in a way that it would be the most politically correct thing to do, or when it comes to Truman, they actually just managed to find the good old grandpa in him, which he had that element in him, luckily. I'm sure if it wasn't Truman, maybe it would have not have, his ambassador was very much against the idea. Not even the Holocaust was enough. It wasn't. Then they continued, and but once Israel was established, the operations, it was under embargo, they couldn't get planes. You know how they got planes? Some person pretended that they're filming. There were planes in auction in Britain, and he had established, and he was "Oh, I'm gonna purchase the planes because I'm shooting a movie," and they hired. They wrote a script, hired actors, and then there was a scene that they had to fly the planes, and oops, the planes flew all the way to Israel. This is how we got. This is the situation. It's not. It's no. The world never stopped. They continued their genocidal path. It's just that the Jews managed to find an ally here, an ally there, a miracle here, a miracle there, for that to happen. Brabton Lefton, what's your opinion of Yoav Gallant as pathetic, treacherous coward? I hope that is a good enough number of words. I was it's a lie, everything is a lie. You see, the Jews did not ran off the Palestinians did, the Arabs in the land of Israel did. No, they didn't just run off and it was all sweet. They just had to leave their house. No, they literally had to have an escape plan, an escape route planned, so that they would manage to get out before getting genocided. It's all a lie. Nothing. The United States was sure that the Jews are gonna get massacred. There is no way we're gonna succeed. And it's just it's miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle that allowed the establishment of the land of Israel. Not for 1 second was there any mercy. Just to individuals that I think they were just good people in the by their nature. So it's not they would fall under the category of the righteous among the nations even during the Holocaust and before. So they never cooperated with it. So c'est la vie. And just it's a lie upon a lie upon a lie. And the attempt to genocide the Jews had never stopped. Never, not for a moment, not for a minute. Israel just positioned itself in a genius manner where the West is absolutely dependent on the technical thing that Israel is, which is blocking the Eastern Front. Israel, the way it's positioned, is blocking the Eastern Front. it's just, it's like you just position yourself in a way that like, okay, they want you dead, but if you die, then they're gonna be dead next, and it's like it's not even 2 steps away; it's like 1 step away. So it's like too much of a not that much of a good exchange. I mean, not everybody is crazy like the Christians in Lebanon. Like they were willing to make this one step exchange, right? Like 1 step ahead is like they hate Jews, like, or like here, right? Christians, like in Bethlehem, like once, like they were like, okay, if they do not cooperate with the Jews, they're gonna die. They chose to die. Well, now they're extinct. Amazing. Like, but some nations are like, you know what, we want to live. So getting rid of the Jews would bring a lot more problems than it would solve. Even though, like, deep in the heart, it would be so nice to finally get rid of the Jewish problem. So yeah, that's what I've come to realize. There never ever was a scenario where like there was real any like, just like on October 7th, was there any empathy? No. But here's the thing, there was never empathy. Ever. Not for a second. And if it was, like, it was not empathy, it was guilt. And like, oh no, I cannot believe, like, us beautiful blonde Europeans can do something so barbaric. That's what I feel. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, it's always like Jews always at their allies, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like the individuals. It's the individual network that saves us. Like one person here, one person there, like one here, one there, and like key points. Like those like critical allies that would really, really risk themselves, like real heroes, every time, like real heroes. And Brenton left and saying, isn't it sad how Westerns pity the Muslims with low expectations? Israel built a first world nation with an air force out of scratch, and they want us to give the Palestinians a state. They don't really want to, That's the thing. They are playing a double game. Like psychologically they want to. Like mentally they want to. Spiritually they want to. They want the Jews dead. It's not that they love the Palestinians. They just want the Jews dead. Physically they're gonna die too. That's the problem. That's what's stopping them. Like, how, like, I don't, like, you have to be so stupid to not understand, like, if the Jews disappear, the world is gonna be in a dire situation. Dire. It's not even like Russia invading Ukraine. It's like on a different level. And not because of some spiritual mighty thing. No, just physical, like, like you have one line that separates those who believe in pyramid schemes, and pyramid schemes always have to expand. And the other line used to pretend to, like, for a minute or two that they believe in freedoms and stuff, and now they start screwing up their own people. But here's the thing, like, but it's those, they call it the canary in the coal mine, So the Jews died and everything was around the Jews, right? Everybody could close their eyes about what's happening because it's like, oh, it's just about the Jews. But it was never about the Jews. The Jews are, it's so easy. That's the crazy part. It's so easy, like the demonstrations, like, oh, free Palestine. Why are you hanging Palestine? Why are there no local flags? Because Palestine is your country. Palestine is Poland. Palestine is United States. Palestine is the UK. Every place there this demonstration was happening, they were never ever talking about Israel. Ever. They always talk about the land they stay at. It has nothing to do with Israel. And yet, because they use Israel, they can take advantage of this deep-rooted hate to the Jews, that people are like, they're like too, so like, oh, you hate them too? How exciting. So easy. So easy to like, yeah, let's go hate them together. Oh my God, you hate them? I hate them too. And then at the same time, like you hold the knife behind your back, just waiting for the moment that you're just gonna be bigger than them. So easily manipulated every time. Hitler the same. Was like, but it's like, oh, the Jews. And it's like, if you hide behind the Jews, then Hitler, the Jews was like it was like it was like like on a spiritual level, he was obsessed with the Jews because like there are like this thing that like even like in his mind, even one Jew would make the difference. Even one Jew would be the one person that would stand up and say something different from everyone else, no matter the situation. And I was like, thank you for the compliment. You understand us very much. It goes against their the idea of collectivism. Like this was scary. The Holocaust, like they knew what they were doing. There was a reason they like true spiritual reasons. Like the reasoning that Hitler had was not it wasn't untrue. It was just like twisted. So there is like, it's like, but it's so easy. It's like you can take everything from someone. It's the same, you know what? The PLO, I told you like the story of this nice Ahmed guy that was working with the friends of my family, where like Ahmed is like a sweet guy, a very nice guy. And then the PLO, like the Americans forced Israel to bring the PLO, whatever. And I'm sure there were Israelis that like just like now that they believed the propaganda and stuff because they were stupid, but or they were threatened, and then there are the masses where you can just propaganda, like to sell them the idea of there might be peace or something. But by the way, did you notice like how there is such a high correlation between people who like Jews who are crazy leftists that believe this shit? They like how much it correlates with having like with disagreeing with the fundamental values of Judaism. Like it's aligned. It's the same like thing. So but it's like, but yeah, it's just about it, like so easy, like, oh yeah, we want Palestine to be free, and yet they are marching in your streets. You are Palestine, you, not us. So easy. It is so the same with Hitler. You think like what, the Jews weren't there, like it's the same thing. Muhammad the same. And the Jews just always stand up and say whatever they like, why we called Israel? Because we fight against God. A Jew would fight against God. And so a Jew would fight against Hitler. A Jew would fight against Muhammad. A Jew fought against Aman. Like he wouldn't bow to him. He wouldn't submit to him. This is the Jewish spirit. Like the Jews, like God would say, like, Jews, you need to do that. Like the Jews were like, wait, I disagree. Like you have the God coming to you. The Jews would argue. So no, it's like, yeah. So this is the thing. It's like Hitler is like, it's this mentality that drove a lot of people crazy. So yeah, like it's not like if Jews have like this disease of being a leftist, like they're not gonna stay Jewish. Like it doesn't work that way. Judaism like has this culture of debate. Jews argue all the time. Criticize everything, argue with everyone, and if God is presented in front of them, they would argue with God too. And that doesn't work very nicely with tyrants. Side effect. And there then you see all the kinds of pathetic Jews. They're cults. But but everybody, like there is the core truths, those who are truly Jewish. Not like, not the oh, I'm a Jew, those who were pro-Palestine, and then they make a seder, pretend to have a seder, you know, for Passover, and mess up all the writings. Yeah, I'm a Jew. Yeah. But it's just that. It's just that Jews are annoying people that would like, you know, just like it's the annoying child that would say, but the king is naked. What are you talking about? That's the Jew. And it's like, you know, and it's like Hitler said, like, you get to know a Jew, they're all like that. And it's true. You know what? It is true. We're all like that. Come to Israel. See, I'm like, people like, oh, you're so fierce. Like, huh? Everybody here is like that. All the Jews are like that. And like, we don't care who's in front of us. Like, we were like, what? I disagree. Like, they would state their mind. So yeah, that's fundamentally problematic. But this is like this, the Hitler had a passage about the third, like a boy that's like he believed that it's so fundamental. He believed that even if you take a Jewish boy out of Judaism, he would never meet them. He would still be the annoying child that shouts that the king is naked. Like he believed it. He believed that like he said, like every Jew I met, it was like that. They're all Jewish. Like, you know, it's like, no matter what you do, like you take them away, it's still somehow it's gonna be that one child that one person that says that the king is naked. It's like if you like grew up in an Aryan family, looks okay, never learned Judaism, like, oh, he was adopted. Like this is Hitler. Like he believed it truly. Like you cannot, like, it's just something so fundamental to the Jewish persona that if you even take a baby away, then it's still gonna be the annoying child that would say, what? But you're not a god. What are you talking about? So yeah, that's like, okay, so why are you getting rid? Because this is a symbol of tyranny. They fight against the Jews. Like they don't want to have the child, the annoying person that would say, but the king is naked. So they have to chase the Jews away. And then they can control the masses so much easier. The Jews are like, they're like a joker. It's like you have a chaos in the system. It's like something unexpected. Like you cannot like control it. So it's problematic. They don't like it. I understand. It's logical. Like if you follow the logic of what they're like of this thinking, like yes, Jews are usually don't fit the bill. Yeah, something like true. It's not untrue. That's the thing. Like yes, I guess it is true. Like the more I talk, the more I see. There's like the more I realize it. Yes, it's fundamentally true. So then it's like, because we're always the annoying person, which we are. Everybody likes hating on us because we are the annoying person, which we are. Agreed. Like this part we can agree on. An axiom. Annoyingly, even the Bible says it, right? Like persistent, argues back, complains, like, you know, annoying. So, you know, the gang up was like, oh, let's complain. And so easy to manipulate. Like, it's like, oh, you had that Jew person. Oh, I had them too. And then like, but one is using the Jews so that they could manipulate, like, we're like, no, we're just against the Jews, of course. Like, it's just, if the Jew is shouting, like, you know, the king is naked, just like, you know, Jews do that. Come on, they're so annoying. But then nobody can do that anymore. Nobody would shout the king is naked. So yeah. So it's always, it's like being used. So everybody's using Israel. Everybody's using Israel. The Jews and Israel. It's the same thing every time. So, all right, let me read your comments a little bit. See if there is anything exciting in my tangent. Copying Judaism is notably more interpretive than Islam. I saw this clip that Nusail made, Nas Daily. He was like, I'm gonna discover it. Like, what did you learn about Judaism? It's like, Judaism is you argue. Like, he went to yeshivas and like, all they like, I was like, I've never seen people argue that much. It's like everywhere arguing. It's like, oh, that's the religion of argument. That's what Judaism is. I was like, yeah, you got it, man. That was impressive. Like, he didn't get too confused by anything. Like, he didn't like get confused by the tzitzit and like by like, no, he got straight to the point. Oh, that what you do is argue. That's your stick, right? That's what. This is all what you. This is what you are about. Like, it's like, okay, I figured you out. It's like, oh, actually, yeah. He's a very smart man. I can see that. Yeah, that's what we do. It's what we do. So, right. We're seeing if there are any interesting comments. I say that and then go on a tangent. Go on a tangent. The global hit list is Jews, then Hindus, then Christians, and lastly Islam and communists. Understand your enemies are people. Yeah. No, it kills me. Like, so easy. Like, you just say that it's against the Jews. Like, a call for, like, intifada, like, globalize the intifada. You don't need to globalize an intifada for 1.5 Jews. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's like you bring, like, I don't know, you bring a yacht to a pool party. There's literally like a couple of millions of, like, it's just nothing. You don't need to globalize the intifada to get rid of all the Jews. And it's like, no, you idiots. They mean that they want to topple your government. No, it's only against oh. No, I mean, like, seriously, you're stupid. And like sometimes I think, like sometimes when I'm really bitter, it's like I wish we disappeared and you guys like see how it is without the Jews. You're welcome, as if we had not anything to do with that. Like, it's like, sure, stay alone with those people. You'll get to experience things you'd never thought you'd experience. But then I remember that it includes me disappearing, which I don't know, I have some resistance for. Like, I just don't like this experiment so much. I like it in theory, right? I wish like I could like, let's see you. I was like, let's get rid of the Jews and see what happens tomorrow. I'm like, I mean, it might be a fun experiment. The problem is that as a Jew, it's gonna be kind of hard to watch, and I won't be here to tell you I told you so. So what's the point? Oh well. All right. I think coping is seems tired, so I guess it's time to sleep. All right. You guys, I'm gonna go to sleep and wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then I'll just wait for one push from the here. Okay, you guys. Yes, time to sleep. See ya. Good night. Wait, I'm waiting a minute or not? Like, most of my friends in school happen to be Jews. Yeah, it's also like Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk. Elon Musk was like, wait. I've been surrounded by Jews all the time. I think I got a Jew thesis from them. It's like you get the disease of being like the Jews if you hang out with us too much. So it makes us like we're actually a societal hazard, like really. All right, Laila Tov. Okay.